In this video, I'm going to be talking to our superstar of the month, Helen Crapper, and she's going to be talking about how she overcame her fears of putting her prices up, the fear of difficult conversations, and also the fear of losing customers, and how you can overcome those fears too. So let's get started. So today I am joined by Helen. Helen is our superstar of the month. And Helen, if you could just introduce yourself very quickly to our audience.
Hi, I'm Helen. I have a small bookkeeping and finance management firm in Bakewell in the Peak District, and we mainly work with our clients monthly, offering them finance management services.
Thank you. And we awarded you our Superstar of the Month because not only did you complete 15 actions during the month, you had really embraced being coach accountable, setting your actions and obviously completing them. You also, I think, enrolled in the courses. So it was really not long after you joined that you'd really encompassed everything that we want, obviously, people to get involved in. But there was two things that stood out particularly for me, and I'm going to ask you which one sort of had the biggest impact. And it was you'd done some KPIs for the team, and you'd also reviewed your client profitability and optimized your services. Which of those sort of would you say had the biggest impact?
Definitely the client profitability and looking at our services. That was definitely the one that's had the biggest impact.
Excellent. And how did you feel before you'd sort of fixed that, or what made you realize you had a problem?
We were running around just all the time. We were just constantly busy, but it just didn't feel like we were as profitable as what I knew that we could be. And our pricing, we hadn't reviewed it for so long, for probably 2 or 3 years. We'd had small increases, but the pricing side of things was always a bit of a finger in the air approach. And I just knew that we hadn't increased our prices in alignment with how our clients had grown, but I didn't feel like I'd got a good structure in place in order to requote clients and to be able to price the work profitably.
Brilliant, thank you. So, what would you say is the main thing that stopped you from approaching those customers? Is there a sort of feeling you can perhaps share that others would
Yeah,
resonate with?
I th definitely a mindset issue for me. I definitely felt like there's a lot, you think, oh, I can't charge them that, or I can't charge them this, or I can't put my prices up by X amount. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I found in the surgeries very early on, was that there was a couple of questions that came through from other members that addressed things that were similar to how I was feeling. And I also felt quite a bit of shame, to be honest, because in my humble opinion, in my head, I was saying, well, I'm an accountant. I should know this. I should know how to do this. And I'm doing this with clients on a day in, day basis. So why can't I get my own price, and why can't I get my own profitability? And what I've realized from joining is that actually this is a bit of a thing for us accountants. And it's not something that I guess that I felt quite alone, and I didn't quite know who to ask, because, like I say, I felt a bit of shame around it. But joining the group and seeing that other people were asking similar questions made me feel a lot better, and have that support there to not only recognize it, but also the solutions and suggestions to approach that, and how to. And like the 5 Ps, for example, was brilliant in terms of addressing that for me and being able to work through that.
So, yes, but thank you. So, at the beginning, would you say it was the fear of confrontation with customers or fear of losing? What was the
Fear
biggest?
of losing. So I felt like that there was a fear of losing our customers. I think there was a fear of having the conversation, but the fear of having the conversation was that I didn't have any anything tangible really to base it on. I didn't really know how to increase the fees. I knew they needed to increase, but I didn't know how much, and I needed a foundation, a structure in place. And we've since gone off the recommendations of yourself and Simon, gone and looked at Go Proposal and Socket and got a solution in place to be able to address that. But I also think that, so there was a challenge of, I know I need to increase my costs, my fees to improve profitability, but I didn't have clarity on how to then address it and how to then do it and how to action it. And I knew that some of those clients needed to have quite a significant increase. So I needed to double their fee or triple their fee. And then that comes into a bit of a self-worth thing. And you kind of go, well, how do I have these questions? How do I have these conversations? Because even if once I've calculated it and I know what I need to do, it's then sitting down in front of them and going, hi.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so that's where the mindset bit comes in. So to answer your question, I think it was a combination of both.
No, brilliant. Thank you. And it's not as you've already alluded to, it's not uncommon. And what you've just talked about there, the five P's. So the five P's, just for anybody watching that doesn't know, is one of the courses we have on. It's called the five P's to perfect pricing. So it's a whole sort of combination of um, where to start with the pricing increase, and some of the I guess the mindset stuff as well. I think is all covered within that, and the conversations and how to handle the conversations. What would you say is the first step that anybody watching that is feeling the way you did about putting their prices up, so the fear of losing customers or the fear of confrontation, what would you say is the first step for them? What was the biggest impact you had?
Um, I think for me personally, if it's anybody that's not already a member, hand on heart, become a member, because I think that the first thing to do is to talk about it, to get advice from people that have already done it, who have already been through the process. And that's one of the things that I know that there was a couple of occasions that, Simon's mentioned his experiences of it, and yourself and other members. For people that are members, then I think it's like you say, the five P's was really good. Getting that structure in place, if they don't have something like Go Proposal, to have something that then makes a seemingly intangible service tangible. It then takes the emotion out of the pricing. You can sit almost behind it and hide behind it if you want to go, well, this is what the computer says. It's not me, it's the computer.
Yeah.
It does, I know I'm laughing about it, but it does somehow separate that emotion from it. And prepare. Don't I think most of the clients that we've spoken to about it have they've all been fine, to be honest, with the increases, but it's definitely sitting down and preparing to have those conversations, doing it well in advance and sitting down, and so that you're in a place of confidence that you go into the conversations feeling confident about why you're putting your prices up, what the reason for that is.
So, if I could summarize, put it in my own. So, what you're saying is that if you're going to have the conversation, have all the information there, so that
Yeah,
when they ask questions, you've got everything, and it's factually backed up with what they're using, and how much, I get, not necessarily time, because we won't want to sell on time, but what is involved in what they're getting.
exactly. And so for us, a lot of ours is that our pricing wasn't actually that far out. The issue was that we've not increased our prices as our clients have grown. So the conversations for us have actually been, touch wood, because we've still got a few to have, but touch wood, relatively easy to have, because I can say when we first quoted that 2 years ago, your profits, your revenue were at X, they've now doubled, and therefore our fee needs to increase as a result, and they get it, and so they go, oh yeah, okay. So it's that, or when we first quoted you to do this work, we've since been doing payroll for you, or and you've VAT registered, and now we're doing your VAT returns for you, and so we're actually now bringing our prices in alignment with the services we're offering. So I think it was yourself, Mark, that said it's not a price increase.
Yeah.
It's just charging for what we're already doing and then getting us on the front foot. We're doing all ours now ready for 2025. So we can say now we're on the front foot for 2025 and we're all clear on where we stand.
Yeah, I think for me that's a really important one because as you said, I talk about that in the course because having a price increase conversation is hard enough. But when you take the price, when you take it out of being a pricing increase and just charging people for what they should be being charged for, it's about fairness and that always is I guess an easier conversation to have with the customer than we're putting your prices up like everybody else in the world. You know, your gas price has gone up, your fuel price has gone up. That feels like a really hard conversation. But when it's actually you know I think I described, you wouldn't go into Tesco's and say, well, I normally have 2 loaves of bread, but I've got more mouths to feed this month, so can I have my third loaf of bread for free? And I think that's,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that because it's really a really important thing. And that's one of the early stages for people when they're putting their prices up to concentrate on because it's low hanging fruit. It's not a price increase conversation. So how
Yeah.
did you feel afterwards?
Honestly, I feel great. I still sound a little bit hesitant, but I do because there's still a few that we're working towards. We've started with the lowest, with the easier conversations. We're working up our way through because I've built confidence. The thing is that because I've built that confidence and I'm clear on why we're doing the increases, why we're changing the pricing, there's a confidence now in me that I know that even if I go and talk to a client and they turn around and go, I completely understand everything that you've said and I completely get why you're putting your increases up, but it's just not for us and we need to walk away. I can hand on heart say I've done everything that I can,
Mm.
and that we've got that structure and we've got something in there that I can justify it. So in terms of how do I feel completely different. Before I just was in a bit of a whirlwind. I just didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing, if I'm honest. And now that we've been through this process and we've got new clients coming in, their new inquiries. And what I hadn't appreciated before, but seems so obvious now, is that I was subconsciously resistant to new clients coming on board because I didn't know how to quote and I didn't know how to price. But now I've got everything in place, I've got the confidence. I can just whip up a proposal and put it out there, and I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I can have those conversations. We To give you an idea, in terms of operationally how it's changed us, now I'm not saying this is everybody's approach. We definitely took a rip the plaster off very quickly. Things were very challenging earlier in the year, and we made a big review of the clients that we wanted to work with and the clients that we didn't. And we kindly and lovingly help those clients that we didn't want to work with find other solutions. So some of them had got too big to work with us. They needed to recruit somebody in house. So we helped them recruit somebody in house. Some of them, they were just better fit for other firms. So through that process, we reduced our fee by 48%. So, in the matter of about 3 months, by going through this process now, and at that point, our team was tired, they were stressed. We were constantly on a hamster wheel, churn, 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 churn every month because we do monthly work. And we'd get to the end of the month and we'd go, oh my God, we survived. Okay, let's go into the next one. And it just felt relentless by doing the changes in the prices that we've done so far with our existing clients, and there's only one client that we've added new services on for. This is based on the services that we were already doing. Of that 48% reduction, we've recovered 43%.
Okay.
So, from a team perspective, we've got a happier team. I'm happier. I'm enjoying my business again. I'm enjoying my work again. My team are engaged. My team, we're having fun. So I don't know how to sum that up. When you say, how do I feel? I don't know how to sum all of that up. It's not just about me, it's about the team, it's about everything. Does that make sense? So,
It absolutely does, and for me, there is no better answer than how you have just explained it because your whole sort of body changed and kind of grew at that moment. So for me, it's seeing it. And people watching it will see that that's a genuine response. So it's better than for me. It's as good as any articulated words or planned. As you know, we had a conversation beforehand, and I didn't know which way you were going to answer. So you've kind of answered all the questions. I was going to ask you about what impact it made financially, which you've also answered. So that's brilliant from our perspective. And hopefully everybody from who will watch this who is struggling with their pricing and profitability, because obviously the first thing people do when they talk about profitability is go and look for new customers when there's money sitting on the table that is left. So yeah, I really appreciate your time and feedback on that, and the mention of the 5Ps courses, because I'm proud of that myself, and it's I like to hear that the work we do actually does help people with it. So thank you very much. And thank you for inspiring the members of the Bounce community and the wider community. And thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you, and thank you for all the support so far.
Thank you very much. We'll catch up with you soon.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.